You are making the world a better place by listening to the Joy of Living podcast. This is your guide to achieving a more purposeful, powerful, and positive life. Join Barry Shore in unlocking the best version of you and becoming happier, healthier, and wealthier. And now, here's your ambassador of joy, Barry Shore.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. You found good in abundance because you tuned in consciously and conscientiously to the Joy of Living with your humble host, Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy. Notice I didn't say the ambassador of joy. The ambassador of joy. And you tuned in for one reason and one reason only. It's the best reason in the whole world, because you care the most in the entire world about you. Y-O-U. And that's great, by the way, because when you become the best you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony, create more joy, happiness, peace, and love in the world. And at this very moment, you are joined by approximately 512,702 people around the world. And by the time we bring on our amazing guests, get ready, buckle up, Mr. T himself, Tristan, in just a few minutes, we'll have, God willing, over 520,000 people. And I say thank you to you because you're always urging your family and friends to join the show. And we'll be over, God willing, over 1 million listeners within the next 6 to 7 months. Now, I always urge you to share the show with 5 people. You want to share with 50 or 100? That's great. At least 5. That way we can touch a couple million people around the world. And you're going to learn a lot of great stuff today because Mr. T is a upbeat, amazing, interesting being at the tip of the spear in something called podcasting. Hello, podcasting, what you're all listening to, watching, etc. right now. Now, you tuned in, as I said, for one reason only, because you know in this show, we discuss the 3 fundamentals of life. And when you learn these 3 fundamentals and you live them, you will be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that? First fundamental, of course, is life. Your life has purpose. And when you lead a purpose-driven life, number 2 happens. It's a good number 2. You go MAD. Now, MAD is a wonderful acronym that stands for make a difference. Lead a purpose-driven life, you make a difference in the world. And the third fundamental is to uncover the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. Simple example, this show is carried over the internet. Ask anybody, what does www stand for? And verbiage has to do with the internet. Factually speaking, they're correct. However, in our world, the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, WWW stands for what a wonderful world. And what is a word, right? WHATA. And of course, a tip of the hat and a big thank you to Louis Armstrong, Satchmo, for enabling that song, What a Wonderful World, to go viral and not just touch tens of millions or hundreds of millions, billions of people around the planet. Whenever you hear the opening bars of what a wonderful world, what do you do right away? You can't help but you smile. Now, smile is one of the most important words you're going to integrate into your life because smile stands for seeing miracles in life every day. That's right, seeing miracles in life every day. Now, I got to tell you a quick story. I am privileged to speak to millions of people every month through the podcast that we do. This and I on Las Vegas, great podcast as well. And recently, I don't do a lot of in-person appearances. Recently, I did when we had 1,172 people there. And I'm telling the story about Barry Shore. Now, let me just tell you quickly the story. Imagine, if you can, I'm standing up in the morning, healthy and hearty, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. And in the evening, I'm in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed from my neck down. And it wasn't an automobile accident. It wasn't a spinal injury. It was a rare disease. Took over my body. Never heard of it the day before. And then rendered me paralyzed, quadriplegic. I could only communicate by blinking my eyes. So 144 days in the hospital. I was in a hospital bed, my own home for 2 years. I couldn't move. I was in a wheelchair for 4 years. I had braces on both my legs, my hips, and my ankles for years. Thank God today I'm able to be vertical and ambulatory with help of a 7-foot walking wand. So I'm a triped, not a biped. Can't walk up a stair by myself. Can't walk up a curb by myself. I have help 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, but you hear my voice. Positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. So I'm talking about smile and people raising their hands and saying, hey, Barry Shore, I've been up for hours. I haven't seen any miracles. And I asked them, are you here? Can you hear? Can you stand still? I can't do that. Can you walk? I can barely do that. Do you have water, drink, do you have food, do you have a place to sleep, family, or friends? Every single one of those is a miracle. Simple proof. 1 million people didn't get out of bed this morning. You know why? They died. By definition, if you're watching or listening, you didn't. Therefore, you have an obligation to live life to the full. I got to tell you a quick story, though. My 8-year-old niece comes over to me a couple weeks ago and she says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile S-M-I-E-L? I thought about it. Smile, it sounds the same. Why not? I asked her how come. Just because then it would stand for seeing miracles in everyday life. Out of an 8-year-old. What was she doing? She was creating the kind of world that she wants to live in. CREATE is a fabulous acronym that stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. It's rethinking in the world, what we call a shift in perspective. Now, I've been dealing with people for more than half a century, and you got to learn to keep the F in place in the word shift, or the other stuff happens. Now, I just want to urge you to understand that when you shift your perspective, you can internalize, utilize, and leverage the 6 most important words you'll ever learn. And these are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose to respond in any given situation will determine your path in life and your trajectory. So before we bring on amazing Tristan, you're going to love him. He's so good. I want to urge everybody, I have to warn you in advance, I use a lot of 4-letter words. I even use the 4-letter FU word. And I do it because of the shock value and it's fun. Now, the 4-letter words, of course, that we use, because we live in the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, are love, life, hope, play, free, gift, swim. And the 4-letter FU word is fun. That's right, FU, capital N, capital N. So, what? People say, well, it's only spelled with 3 letters, Barry Shore. Not in our world. In our world, it's 4 letters. FU, capital N, capital N. So after the show, point your finger at your friends, family, twinkle in your eyes, smile in your face, say, FU, everybody. Add right away, capital N, capital N. Where'd you go? Yeah, and I said, well, we listen to Barry Shore, and you should listen to it. You got their attention. Now you can share with them. So before we bring on Tristan, I'm going to urge everybody to use the 2 most powerful words in English language 3 times a day for now and the rest of your life. And these 2 words are thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank stands for to harmonize and nurture kindness. Kind, keep inspiring noble deeds. I can't think of anybody that inspires noble deeds that I want to share with you than more than wonderful Tristan Capes-Davis. Kristen, please say hello to 513,617 people around the world.
Hey guys, happy to be here. And Barry, love the intro, man. Just the positivity is so infectious. I was smiling the entire time listening to it.
Well, we're here to serve, sir. So anybody who's watching, you're seeing 2 generations, maybe 3, and you're looking at Tristan as he is now, or what Barry was almost 50 years ago, and where Tristan's going to be, God willing, in 50 or 80 years from now. So I want to just tell everybody 3 data points about Tristan, because if I told you everything that he's accomplished, and he's not even 29, it would take the rest of the show. I'm going to give you 3 data points that I love. Number 1, deeply involved in business, high-level business with hedge funds and working with money, working with multi-billion-dollar organizations. Number 2, foundational. He attended one of the greatest institutions of higher education in the United States of America called VMI, Virginia Military Institute. And it has a great history going back more than 100 plus years, maybe 150 years, so he'll tell us about that. And number 3, what I love about him, he's married and he just had a baby boy. Yay, Tristan! So let's just jump right in and begin with the big B, baby. The big B is business. Let's talk about business from your perspective, young, dynamic, accomplished person in the United States of America. I'm going to tell you one more thing before I ask you to speak, and that is everybody listening around the world, wants to live in America. And I say to them, really, you don't have to. What you really want is the American mindset. No matter where you live geographically, it's what your mindset is. Would you agree to that, Tristan?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, before we even go into the business side, it'd probably be helpful to frame the conversation for everyone listening and watching, that mindset mentality. So I'm originally from Long Island, New York. I was a multi-sport athlete as well as my brothers and sisters. I'm the oldest of four. And I grew up playing football, soccer, track, lacrosse. My father played football in college, and my mom was a junior Olympian.
Wait,
Uh,
wait, wait, wait. I didn't know any of this. I am as happy and as excited as everybody listening or watching, because sports helps develop three things: teamwork, personal ability, and winning mindset.
yeah, and I think this is why I wanted to frame it for everyone. So I grew up, and the funniest thing is I always told my mom I was going to go to college to play lacrosse, and then ended up going to Virginia Military Institute, playing Division I lacrosse there. And when we think about the mindset, I was recruited as a two-way midfielder, and my freshman year, I go to Virginia Military Institute, and I'll let everyone go Google the rat line there and look at. We'll get into that. And then my head coach gets fired. So the person that recruited me, whole coaching staff is gone, and they bring in a new coach, and he says, Capes, because everyone uses the last name at a military school, goes, Capes-Davis, have you ever taken a face-off before? And I go, no. He's like, but you're from Long Island. I can trust you to get a ground ball. So recruited as a two-way midfielder to now being a Division I face-off guy. Something I'd never done in my entire life. And, I'll kind of frame it from there as I started all 4 years. So
what was it like to be put in a situation that you'd never been in before? Were you nervous, scared, or said, oh, this is an interesting challenge?
I was, I wouldn't say nervous, more so I had the mindset of whatever's best for the team, but also I'll mix that with I'm probably one of the most competitive individuals. It does not matter if it's sports, doesn't matter if it's video games, doesn't matter what it is. I have a mindset of I'm just going to figure out a way to win. And what I wanted to frame this was for everyone that's watching and listening as we go through the business mindset of kind of how I view the world. I graduated from Virginia Military Institute with no job because I had a job offer that got rescinded because the business ultimately, wasn't performing. So I went to VMI, graduated, worked landscaping, and did investment banking internship at night, fully remote. And that's how I launched my career. And looking to where we are now, where I'm speaking with Barry and his mindset of just joy, positivity. I love everything about it, Barry. Like, the ability to wake up every day and change the mindset of, being happy that you're here. Or, you and I were just speaking a couple of weeks ago, like having my kid and saying like what an honor it is to wake up and like listen to him cry at 2 a.m. in the morning and feed him rather than,
Right.
I'm losing sleep over this.
And again, I'm going to unpack a couple of things here because for the worldwide listening audience, you just heard what Tristan mentioned to you. It's mindset. Whatever is there, first of all, he said, what's best for the team. You hear that? What's best for the team. And I'm going to perform to the best ability I have because I am competitive. And that is an important aspect, in my humble opinion, of the American mindset. It's competitive in the most positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant way. It's not there to hurt others. As a matter of fact, in the American mindset, it's how do you raise all boats? How does everybody win? So people know there's an acronym for team. But you don't need to know the Barry Shore acronym for team. Barry Shore acronym for team is together everyone achieves miracles, which we're going to use as our segue to talk about what you're doing with PodGo, because we're talking about, Tristan will get into a little bit, and I'm going to plant the seed with you. I love the word business. To me, business is the ultimate great profession. more so than doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs. Why? Because it is at one and the same time transactional and transformational. Nothing happens until somebody has something to offer other people to buy and use it. That's called service. Am I right?
Absolutely. And I would also add in there relationships. So, which I'll go into about PodGo and like the fact that you and I are even speaking, Barry. But, for everyone watching or listening, when I graduated VMI, to break into investment banking, and if you guys aren't familiar, please Google and see, how hard it is. Not only was I 2 years behind, but I was out of school, working landscaping during the day and then working a remote internship at night. And then I finally got a big break, but that came with sending out 3,000 and like 15 plus emails to people that I kept in an Excel spreadsheet.
So part of what Tristan just shared with us in 3,000 emails, the number doesn't matter because you don't know which one of those 3,000 made a difference. The point is it's taking action. It's not slinking back and saying, well, woe is me. It's okay, Capes, what are you going to do now?
Yeah. And actually I would even say this. So funny enough, I think like when I was going through everything, I was frustrated. I went to a military school. I played Division I lacrosse. I had a good GPA and nothing was going my way. But, I looked at the relationships of like, not of, I need someone to give me a job right now versus let me take the time to actually see what this individual does, keep discussing with other people. And then how do I bring them into all these other conversations I was doing? And like, I framed the narrative of, I did anybody that, tier one search, like who would really connect with me if they went to Virginia Military Institute. Then the next was anyone proximity of that. So Washington and Lee actually shares a campus with VMI. No one really knows that, but we do. So I tiered it of W&L alumni and lacrosse people. So anyone that played collegiate lacrosse, I would reach out to them. And then after that is anybody in finance that was from the New York area. And so all these emails, funny enough, it all went from like one individual recommended to somebody else. Then he said, I actually spoke with Tristan and I spoke with that person. So 5 individuals out of all those emails ended up knowing each other and said, all right, well, this guy or kid at the time clearly is doing something correctly. And they made a direct introduction to a public company CEO. And he called his friend up and said, hey, I think you need to speak with Tristan. And that's how I got my start at my first real job in investment banking. And, I'll let the viewers like go look at that bank, just given some of the other news going on. But it was funny. So I joined investment banking after reading everything, thinking like I made it. And they had a very unique bonus structure. And that was you get paid as an analyst on your bonus for deals that are closed. So if you listen to me say that as an analyst, you are the bottom of the totem pole. You really have no say on a deal closing, as Barry will tell you in business, as if like, some 21-year-old is going to make a difference on some like 40, 50, 60-year-old, business owner. So what I did was I was like, really, that's awesome. And I can work with anybody in the entire company. And they said, yeah. So I went to Salesforce, looked up all the managing directors that were closing deals, gave them a phone call and said, hey, do you want a new analyst that comes from a military school that's willing to work his ass off for you? And that's how I ended up working on a ton of deals.
I want to emphasize 2 points. One is the word that you used, and then I'm going to say the funny part. Here's how I framed it. Did you hear? That's what you said. Here's how I framed it. One of my books that I published last year is called Reframing, the Art of Living, because it's how you frame things. You are the artist in your world. You're the one who paints the picture and frames it. You're the one who's out there making. Then you said, would you be willing to talk to somebody who comes from a military background in the end? And then you said, who will work his ass off for you? Well, hello, if I said no to that, something's wrong with me. That's what gets people's attention. You get somebody's attention, then you have the opportunity to speak with them. Now, if you can't deliver, that's a different story. However, we know Capes can deliver. And speaking of delivering, we have advertisers that love our show. We wouldn't have them on if we didn't think they're worthy of your time and attention. We'll be right back with more of Mr. T right after this. Don't go away.
Hello, skincare connoisseurs. If you think you have tried everything in skincare, you are going to love what I am about to tell you. I'm pharmacist Benjamin I. Fuchs. I'm a dermatology pharmacist. And what I've discovered in my compounding pharmacy after decades of working with patients with skin traumas and skin diseases is the missing link in skincare is topical essential nutrition. And because of this missing link, we're not maximizing the potential of topical skincare. We're leaving skin beauty and skin health on the table. And that's why I formulated my Truth Treatments. Listen, the skin's an organ. It needs and wants and craves nutrients, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, fatty acids, and plant-derived minerals, and now it can get them in super high concentrations in my Truth Treatments. Originally formulated for dermatologists and their patients, now they're available to you. Check them out today at truthtreatments.com, and I know you are going to love the truth.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. If you're good-looking, so I was looking for and finding the good. Our cup runneth over with good. His name is Tristan Capes-Davis, and he's hardworking, team-oriented, competitive sportsman who has taken the bull by the horns and done something unique in business. Let's talk more about business. I'm just going to, people who listen to my show know that we've discussed this many times, and people, thank God, by the many thousands read my book. And I talk about this, something that I learned from with my father when I was 9 years old. And just make it very brief, I grew up in a place called Boston, Massachusetts. So around the world, people can just Google it in. Wintertime, Boston means snow and cold and wow. And every so often it would snow enough that we call school off. And you have to listen to the radio. Radio, everybody, nobody had internet. I mean, this goes back more than, oh my gosh, more than 60 years. People can't even understand it because most everybody listening here is under the age of 35. Okay. The point is that when it snowed, they called school off. So what do? Go back to sleep, play board games, or like me, get bundled up, earmuffs and stuff, and long underwear and double and gloves, and go out at 7:15 in the morning because they may call off school, but not business, and I'm going to shovel snow. Now, I got 50 cents per week as an allowance for doing chores. I went out and I shoveled snow from 7:15 in the morning until 4:50 and maybe 5:10 in the evening. It was dark already. I came home. I made $55. And there's a lot of great stories to go with it. Anyway, my father is making me a cup of hot chocolate. And I like hot chocolate, real chocolate, melted. And he sits me down. He says, my dear beloved son, he used to love calling me that. My dear beloved son, how do you spell the word business? I said, I'm smart, 9-year-old. Business. That's right. I want you to notice something. The U comes before the I. When you take care of other people like you just did shoveling snow, the I will always be taken care of. You don't have to worry. You don't have to chase. Go out there and serve. So let's use that as a jumping off point. Wonderful, Tristan. What's your frame of reference when it comes to business?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot with what you mentioned with your father telling you that, or how I look at things is everything is relationship oriented, especially, my background. And I'll skip some of the other, I did investment banking, then private equity, and then most recently worked in the private markets at a $20 billion fund. And from there, they were investors in SpaceX and OpenAI and a few of the largest companies. And everything was extremely relationship oriented. Every high level deal, every boardroom, it's, hey, this is a friend of mine and this is how they can help you, or you guys are looking for X, they have X, and, I'll make the direct introduction. And from there, kind of goes back to where I first started. I still kept in touch with all those people that I reached out to initially. And I always would take the time because people took the time to speak with me. So I would always get LinkedIn DMs or cold emails saying like, hey, Like, I'm a college student looking for an internship. Like, do you have 15, 20 minutes to speak with me? I take every single one of those emails and I reply to them. And it's something I always have a philosophy of, like, always take the call. You just never know what's going to come from taking that call. And I'll use that to spring into what we're launching, and me and my business partners. It's a company called PodGo. And that's the beauty of PodGo, where, if you look at the podcasting industry today, it has a lot of similar parallels to radio, to TV, and music when it first started. I'm a big history person, and I know, Barry, you and I were speaking about this before, but the parallels that I see is, there's three main compounders, as I like to view it. Radio, when it first started, there was a ton of independent shows. And then what did people realize? Distribution and scale matter, because advertisers are the one paying your fees, and they want to have access to all the distribution and scale. So what did that lead to? People rolling up the radio space and turning into conglomerates. Go look at TV. It's the same parallel. Go look at, the music industry, right? Everyone's familiar with the music labels. And now look at podcasting. You have all these individual networks and DSPs and distribution platforms, but they're all relying on legacy technology. If you look at what Spotify is looking to build, especially now that they're trying to break into the video side of things. But if you ask anybody that's using the video player and ask them to post that same video on YouTube, I think they'll have two wildly different payouts. And what we're building at PodGo is a very simple company, in my mind, of better data, better analytics, leads to better insights and better results. And we've done this all to date without officially launching a real website yet. And that goes back to that R word, relationships. All the people that we have in our network today have just been through all of our relationships and all the good work that we have done throughout our careers. And I'm more than happy to dive into the business side of things, Barry, but I'm sure you want to touch on some key points there.
We will. Let's unpack a few things. Again, worldwide audience. So there may be some people that live in, because we have listeners in Nepal and Bangladesh and Pakistan and throughout India and throughout Africa, Congo, I get emails from, and throughout Latin America, and obviously the United States. And some people are thinking, well, yeah, you have relationships. First of all, white privilege, and you got relationships. Well, it's the R word in any language, any group of people. When your mindset is oriented towards building, and I want to emphasize this word build, because that's what you're talking about. Relationships are there to build, not just to talk and have golf and drink. It's relationships to build. Notice the word build, B-U-I-L-D. The U comes before the I. When you're there for relationships to create benefit for others, then guess what happens? By definition, you'll be taken. It's a law. It's a law of the universe. The good Lord made it that way. I want to mention something that Tristan just said here. Always take the call. If somebody's calling you and said, well, I'd like to introduce you to something, take the call. Okay, if it doesn't work, doesn't work. And if it works, it's building on the R word. The R word is relationships. And what happens is, you just said, everything in the world, everything, especially in this world, we'll talk about deeper now, about podcasting, distribution, and scale. Without it, you don't have anything. Hello, internet. Most people can't even remember pre-internet. It doesn't exist in their mind. Pre-internet, that's not possible. Pre-iPhone, that's not possible. And it's only in this century that it happened. I mean, think about it. It's a whole new world. So you said the B word, better.
Yeah.
Better analytics. So let's talk about better. PodGo, by the way, PodGo. Everything's in the show notes. You don't have to write anything down. It's all in the show notes. Just lean in and listen. Experience Tristan. Okay, so educate us, please.
Yeah. So, but right before I go into PodGo, let me just also kind of let you guys get into my mindset. of just given my background of working with technology companies and consumers and various other industries, the first thing when you're designing a new company, specifically when we think about consumers, is it has to be frictionless, has to be seamless, it has to work, and so simple that like, my great grandfather that never went on the internet could use it. And so when you go look at all the various analytics across all the different platforms that you could upload through today, they all have their benefits and they all have their downsides. So we said, like, why not take all the pros out of all these platforms, create a centralized distribution hub where now you can now upload your podcast episode, make sure it gets distributed across all the platforms, but now you have access to all those insights into one simple area, build an app on that as well. And by the way, you'll be able to link all your social media into this. You'll be able to link your YouTube channel into this. You can create the TikTok, Instagram reels, all the reels and short form content that you want to do and track all that. When you think about the podcasting space, I look at it of why aren't people bundling the YouTube, the social media and the podcasting? Because you need to remember, advertisers need a return on investment. That's what they care about at the end of the day. So if they're the ones putting money in your pocket, why not make it frictionless, so easy that they can track, they can see all the stats. And I'll take it a step further, which I think everyone here will appreciate. When you think about the podcasting space and then look at like who's actually getting paid, it's typically like the top 10% of quote unquote podcasters eat the lion's share of like ad revenue. But that doesn't mean, right, the person of like the Tristans of the world, nowhere near Barry's, that are commanding all these amazing listeners and watchers are, let's just say my podcast, which has like 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 listeners, doesn't matter. The McDonald's and the corporations will look at that like, that's great, but they're too small because I have a minimum budget of X. So we looked at it and said, well, why not bundle those people in together, take, 100 Tristans, bundle them in, and now A, you're going to be able to hit your minimum budget. And B, I would actually argue the people that are listening, not only here to Barry's podcast, but even the smaller ones, way smaller ones, are listening. They're engaged and they'll actually hear the ad.
Right.
and Barry, you and I spoke about this before. We're taking a bet on that legacy media is not going to be around. I can't even tell you the last time I turned on a news channel versus where do people get their information from. It's all apps, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, I'm using all the old names, whatever. You're looking at short form and longer form content on your phone, on your tablets, in your car, while you're going to the gym, while you're working out, while you're at work. And that's how we kind of took this mindset or framework and now built PodGo. And then we layered it in with our relationships that we have to now bring in all of these amazing people. And we're just building what you would call a network, right? So when Barry comes and says, hey, Tristan, I actually would love to have so-and-so as a guest, make it frictionless, make it easy to reach out to one another. And now you have a community of these unbelievable podcasters that can not only work with each other, but what if I told you the people that are listening to the Tristans of the world might also be listening to, someone else. And I might say, hey, Barry, these people are very likely now to listen to your podcast. So let's recommend it to them. Give them the choice.
Okay, let's unpack a few things here. I'm going to embarrass you.
I think that'd be very hard, Barry, to be honest with you.
Why? Remember we talked about that phrase. We want to eliminate that.
Yeah.
Talk about the 3 R's now. Now in school, when I went to school, they called the 3 R's: reading, reading. Why am I blanking out on the 3 R's? Yes, 3 R's. So in school, we learned the 3 R's: reading, arithmetic, and the other R. The 3 R's that we've mentioned today on the show are relationships, return on investment, and recommendations.
Yep.
So now you just said it, because those 3 build together what you just called the community. See, what you're doing is you're aggregating the small. So in the world of, let's say, charities and things like that, they have what they call the 3 or 4 levels. They're the whales, the people who get big checks, the ones that make everything happen. Okay. And you have the big fish, 7 figures, 6 figures, and you get the 5 figures. But really the bulk of the givers are down here, what they call the minnows or the fish. And there could be thousands, 10,000s, millions of them in an organization, and they give $50, $100 in a year. Well, now you have to pay that, and guess what? That's more than the people who give all the other money together. Bravo. And when you create a community, look again, this wonderful word community. Notice that the U comes before the I. So everybody in the community is looking out to be of benefit to others. By definition, they will benefit. By recommending, by creating relationships, everybody gets an ROI. Everybody. The podcaster, the listeners get their ROI, and the advertiser. And the advertisers say, give me more, because it's analytics. That's what you live for, isn't it, Tristan?
Absolutely. And I think the other amazing part about it too is, how do you discover a new podcaster? Well, it's through recommendations, but I would say, like, based on the research I've conducted, almost all the time it's because a current podcaster that you watch has someone on as a guest. It's all organic. And more importantly, Barry, which is why I love you, it's authentic. That is the key. You have an authentic show. You come across as authentic. And that to me is worth way more. That's like, I call it like the unquantifiable. Like, that doesn't show up in analytics in a sense of like views and things like that. But you could tell when someone has an engaged, authentic presence, show, guest, generally speaking, they're going to pick up views or new subscribers, however you want to use to describe it. And that's what, like, at PodGo at its essence is, we're building a better platform for creators by creators, because we have creators on our platform that are also part of the company. So talk about the best way to Q&A and test all that, when we have Matt Corman, who runs the Process podcast, when he tells me, hey, Tristan, like, this is what I'm doing, and like, it's not working on PodGo. We need to fix this. And you have that feedback loop of like that. Instant and frictionless and seamless. It has to work. And Barry, I know we spoke about how like Spotify was built when they kind of changed the internet and rewrote the laws in order to make streaming as fast as possible. Everyone is so used to being able to pull something up on their phone and it works. And the moment it takes a couple seconds to buffer, people close out of it. Yeah. And so like, we built PodGo from a mobile app to a desktop. So when you think about the engineering behind it, you'll be able to go on your phone, upload all your podcast episodes, also then see links to other podcasters, open them up on Spotify, Apple, everything else, listen to it. And then you might say, oh, well, like, this person is part of the PodGo network and they had him on as a guest. Let me go check out their channel. You can pull all that up right there.
Okay, let's unpack a few things here. I love it. First of all, I now remember the 3 R's: reading, writing, arithmetic. And again, we're dealing, like you just said, is relationships, recommendations, and ROI. And the beauty of what you just said, I'm going to ask a simple question here. This seems so obvious, Tristan. How come nobody else is either doing it or has done it?
It's not that no one else is doing it or has done it. It's all the major players in the space. It's not worth their time, because they would have to fundamentally rebuild their business model with the technology that they have. And that's why I look at Spotify, right? Like, if you look at the industry dynamics, I don't think, like, look at what Netflix is doing. They're bringing podcasts onto Netflix. If you told someone that an executive 15 years ago, they'd be like, you have no idea what you're talking about. But if, again, cable news isn't working, right? Everyone's moving to different content, and that's TikTok, Instagram Reels, right? Videos and creators. You're in the creator economy. So when you offer a better model, not only for advertisers. When I say, hey, imagine you could track these analytics in real time. And then, Barry, I know you and I spoke about it, and I won't necessarily give all the business away here, but what if you could be engaged with your favorite podcasters and actually engage with your core audience directly? And more importantly, let's say to an advertiser, like Barry, you are really aligned with your charity, right? Like you should have the ability to market that to everyone over the phone and say, hey guys, for the next 24 hours, here's a big campaign push. Here are the phone numbers. Like, let's go text them all that and let them know. And by the way, like through PodGo, they'll be able to text you back.
Oh my gosh. You just floored me, kid. That's wonderful. And what Tristan is talking about is what I call the essence of the American experience. The essence of American business is built on 3 letters, FBC, faster, better, cheaper. That's what you're doing here. You looked at other things, best practices, as you said, of others. Let's use the best of everybody, distill it, wrap it, package it, bundle it, and offer it up so that you now can have millions and millions and millions of views like the big guys have. Okay, so it's distributed on scale, and it may be by 10,000 people. What's the difference? Doesn't matter as long as you get the ears and the eyes and the heart and the mind.
Yeah, and we offer...
Pause right there before you answer, because like I said, we have people that love us, advertisers. We would have them on. I think you're worthy of your time and attention. Be right back. Don't go away. There's more capes on the other side of this with Mr. T himself. Opportunity. What an opportunity. I'm going to use 2 4-letter words right now. Free gift. Free gift. Yes. You can have a copy of my best-selling book, The Joy of Living, How to Slay Stress and Be Happy, the ebook version for absolutely free. All you have to do is send an email to me, Barry, Barry, at barryshore.com, and in the heading, the subject line, just write, free gift. It's as easy as that. This is a life-changing, life-enhancing opportunity. Barry at barryshore.com. You'll be glad you did. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Free gift. Do it now. Take the action. Make it happen right now. Best wishes. Bye. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. Good-looking, so I was looking for and finding the good. We found good in abundance. Young, dynamic, amazing fellow and his team that are creating another way of utilizing that which is really in your pocket, on the go, all the time. Podcasts right there. In a place where you can learn and grow and exchange. It's called PodGo, PodGo. So you were about to tell us something, Tristan, and I rudely interrupted you, and I was happy to do it because we love our sponsors. So tell me, we were talking about faster, better, cheaper.
Yeah, and at a core, our business model is we won't charge anybody to be on PodGo. It's freemium. But if you might say, right, you need to align with the creators. So we have people that are making $50 net profit a month right now with PodGo. We have people making over 10 grand, right? We work with anybody and everybody. We want to be a place where anybody can launch their podcast with us and immediately be a part of a community that they feel is not only their partner, right, the P word that we use, but also has their back. So why am I telling everybody this? Well, you can sign up, launch 1 episode with us, right? We have server costs and everything. We eat that. And you're fine. You'll get all the standard package and better analytics than you typically would. But let's say you're a growing creator. You have a brand now, right? You go from, like, I like to call it, like, initial podcaster to now you have a brand. You probably now start getting a website. And like you go to like the small to medium sized business. Well, you're going to want better analytics. You're going to want access to all this. That's the beauty. If you now start coming to us with our, I call it the next tiered version, it's pay, but we will offer all that because we have these relationships and we are able to embed all this technology where you'll be able to get not only the same level of analytics that you were previously, but much deeper insights. So what we always like to describe the case study, or how I always said it to some of my friends, of better analytics, better insights, better results, right? If you're going from that next tier podcasting and making a true living wage, like money off this, and this is your full-time job, I don't want you worrying about all the BS plumbing that goes into like your podcast show. I want you focused on creating great content, which will lead to great results for everyone. That's the key here. And PodGo, we use the P word partner very, very heavy. And we mean that because our business model is we are just as incentivized for you to grow your show and make money as we are. And that's it. Like it's a place or a community, however you want to describe it. It doesn't matter how we look at it as much as the importance of it's a better model for everyone involved. The advertisers get a much better return because we're able to bundle smaller, medium-sized podcasters and larger ones as well. So now they have a more core engaged audience, which also means you get better economics as a starting podcaster than you typically would just going through one of the DSPs. There you go. We're not reinventing the world. We're not changing anything. I didn't come up with some like AI that's going to revolutionize it.
Well, what you did, I'll unpack something. You gave everybody air. What do I mean by that? AIR, because you said it. Better analytics, SEA, better insight, SEI, and better results, SER. Air to breathe. Now, speaking about, because you mentioned insights, analytics, and such, I created an acronym for your name during the break. Can I read it to you?
Of course.
Tristan, TRISTAN, transforming remarkable insights, successfully teaching analytics naturally.
I mean, I love that. I'm going to have to take that one, Barry. That's amazing.
That's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
So we're dealing with the next iteration of the podcasting world. Because as you said, things are shifting all along. It's like plate tectonics. Spotify wants to do this and Netflix wants to do this. Things are happening up here with the elephants and such dancing. And of course, the pygmies are the ones that get stepped on. However, what you're doing is say, pygmies of the world, unite. That was words.
That's it. And the funny part about it is, though, Barry, is like we're also getting some amazing, I say established podcasters as well through our relationships, because as you're familiar with this, given like you're an amazing podcaster as well, the T word, and it's not Tristan, it's trust. Trust is the utmost importance with these creators because they're trusting you with their livelihood. They're trusting you with their brand. They're trusting you with their IP. And, call it like me going back to Virginia Military Institute, or like how I view things, or like, cream rises to the crop. It doesn't matter if, it's 2 a.m. I get phone calls from people like, hey, I'm actually traveling to Vegas or Orlando. Do you have a studio that I can record at? That doesn't mean I go on Google Maps and I go, oh, let me go find any ordinary studio, because these people trust me and this is their brand. And remember, our business model is I'm just as incentivized for you to grow your show to be the next Joe Rogans of the world as you are, because that is how we work and how we grow and we get more profitability for everyone. So that means that requires research. It means I'm up at 2 a.m. I'm doing it. And that's not because I like to do it. It's because we have a company that we are not only getting off the ground and starting up, but I'm passionate about it. It's fun. It actually is amazing.
F you, Tristan. F you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Capital N. Right now, when somebody says F you to you, you laugh. You say, oh, yeah, capital N, capital N. If you can't have fun in business, this is also for people all around the world. With the United States, no matter where you live, business must be fun. Okay, it's gut-wrenching. It takes the heart. It takes the mind. It's sweating. It's still going through stuff. Just laugh. Enjoy yourself. It's fun. It's fun to build, to be with other people. The genius of you, Tristan, I said it again, don't want to embarrass you, however, you're going to know. The background of coming from a family that was involved in athletics on a high level, of going to a military institute on a high level, the ability to understand team on a high level, to work with large amounts of money or people who handle large amounts of money on a high level, all of that prepared you to get to the launching pad. That's all. Just to get to the launching pad. Now, where it's going to go from here? Wow. The next 2, 3, 5, 10 years. What a ride, kid. I love it. And that's why people are listening and want to be. I'm joining PodGo. Hello. Because I dig the team. I dig the idea. I dig the vision. And it's really important, like you said, the T word is everything. Brand, I can't trust that to anybody except me and now you. So yes, I'm in and I love it. I'm a bit loath to say the words I'm about to say. We're coming to a close on our time together, Tristan. So I have 3 quick questions for you. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Number 1, will you come back again?
Absolutely.
Woo! Thank you. Okay, wonderful Capes, Tristan Capes-Davis. You have only 80 seconds to answer this question. What is your most fervent desire?
Honestly, after having my kid, providing for my wife and kid and just making sure they're taken care of. I read all the memes that, as everyone here probably has, like when you have your first child, but it's extremely real. You know, if people are listening to this, I left my hedge fund job, started this company, and had a kid all within the last 2 months. And nothing motivates me more than, I'm just willing to work until get it off the ground to make sure everyone's happy and, provided for.
Thank you. I want to emphasize something he just mentioned, because I can feel it. My first and only son, 37 years ago. So it was a while. I remember the feeling. I remember the ultimate joy. Joy is a fabulous acronym that stands for Journey of You. That's true joy, the journey of you. And to be able to build something that will be legacy, that will be of benefit in the world, is the best gift that a father can give to a son. So good on you, Tristan. Okay, number 3. May I give you a hug in front of 521,911 people around the world? Are you ready?
Absolutely, man.
Say what HUG stands for. Heartfelt, unlimited giving. 1, 2, 3. Remember, you're listening to The Joy of Living with host Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy. And you tuned in for one reason only, because you care the most entire world about you. When you're the best you make the world a better place. Remember, we work on the 3 fundamentals of life. Number 1, your life has purpose. When you lead a purpose-driven life, you go mad. That's number 2. Mad stands for make a difference, like what Tristan and his team are doing, and all the people at PodGo and people that will be listening. Make a difference in the world. Number 3, unlock the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. WWW. What a wonderful world. Smile, seeing miracles in life every day. Or as my 8-year-old niece says, seeing miracles everyday life. Create the kind of world you want to live in, causing rethinking. He left a hedge fund to build something, and it's not even launched yet. Hello, causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. And when you do that, you can live in the world of 4-letter words. Remember, the 4-letter words we use: positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, love, life, hope, play, free, gift, swim, and teach the world to F you. Capital N, capital N. You got their attention. Now you can share with them all the wonderful things that we learned about today. The 3 R's, analytics, and all kinds of good things in business. The heart and the soul, what makes world better. That's what you can do. The you comes before the I. And remember to use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day. From now and the rest of your life, you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. and a prayer from Tristan, new father, and from Barry, an older father. We wish you to go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Tristan, don't go away.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Joy of Living podcast. Now that's another step towards your healthier, happier, and wealthier life. Never hesitate to do good in the world, no matter what the situation. Join us for another upbeat discussion next time at barryshore.com. And be sure to leave a rating and subscribe to the show to get more conversations like this. And remember to share it with your family and friends too. See you on the next episode.